was introduced by a professional writer, so you know it's going to be good. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is, again, thanks to Ira and Al for initiating this this annual meeting, and I hope it continues for a long time, as long as we draw breath, and which some of us, who knows, but in the course of putting this together, in addition to, I found out who was not longer with us, and in addition to George Perino, we have Jeremy Schwartz, as you remember, was gone, and one more, Larry Kaplan, was gone. So, and I'm sure that they would have loved to be here if they could have. And, sorry. Anyway, when I tell my kids about growing up and going to engineering school, I tell them, well, what geeks we were, because we were geeks. But the word didn't exist then, right? I mean, I think that's a modern word, geeks. And they, I tell them how we're geeks, and they all say, Daddy, you're still a geek. You're still a geek. But then I remember now, when we came out of high school, Bob and I went to Bronx Science, preceded by Marty and a bunch of other people, I imagine. We went to a college which had no campus life, really. There wasn't a blade of grass. There were some blades, all right. I get the close to that. And so when we came there, we started, and we knew that there were fraternities, and I was thinking, well, we should probably join a fraternity. We're going to have no social life at all. We're going to have nothing at all. And we, I didn't know the word then, but I knew I was a geek, and Bob and I were talking, and we knew we were both terrible geeks, and then we found out about the fraternities, and we went around to fraternities, and then there's this fraternity with really cool guys.
Which one was that?
We didn't get into that one. We didn't take. They wouldn't take us. But no. I have to tell you, the really cool guys were SKT guys were our kind of guys. We knew it right away. We went to this couple of smokers, and we knew right away that SKT was, and we were very glad to be accepted, because they were really cool guys, and they had, smokers on Friday nights, and I was asked by somebody here whose name will remain nameless over here in the corner, are we having any Brooklyn College girls show up tonight? And Brooklyn College girls, raise your hands. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, guys.
Why couldn't you get one from the Bronx, though?
And many a Brooklyn College girl poked their head in our fraternity, and some of them actually stayed. Not all. So anyway, we had a great time in fraternity, as Bob has pointed out, and then 3 years later, so I was standing up in front of the freshman class, delivering at the freshman smoker for SKT in 1962. I guess it was this fall of 1961. In October of 1961, I'm standing up in front of the freshman class, making my pitch for them to join SKT. And so here it is. Here's my pitch. I still have it. I actually found this buried under a stack of old yarmulkes from various weddings and bar mitzvahs. I can't believe that I still have this, but if I have it, why should I make up the one that, how can I compete with him? Stu Litt, circa October 1961. Now, this is my speech at the freshman smoker. And incidentally, fraternities in those days were so highly regarded by the faculty, the staff, that we had people at the smoker from college, professors. We had
Caldiero.
Of course, we had Caldiero, who was our advisor. But here it goes. Dr. Humphreys, who was Dr. Humphreys?
He was the president.
Dr. Ball.
He was the
student dean, I think.
He was the dean of students.
Professor Caldiero, guests and brothers. Okay. I would like to welcome you here tonight to our annual freshman smoker. I would especially like to greet the large number of alumni who are here on their old stamping grounds. So you guys, some of you guys showed up to show the flag for this evening, and we trust that you approve of the way the fraternity is doing. Now that you freshmen have spent about 2 months in the school, you should know some of the ropes here, and you should be familiar not only with the school work, but also to some extent with the other activities at the school. You must soon make your final decision on whether you will join a fraternity, and if so, which one to join. Ah, Chuck! Great! Our last guest, Chuck Frost. There you go. Have these people. Have a seat. So now, okay, so Chuck, I'm repeating the speech I gave to the freshman class of that would be 1966, I guess, the freshman class of 1966, to join our fraternity. You will soon make your final decision on whether you want to join a fraternity, and if so, which one to join. I hope we can be of some assistance here tonight. I'm going to speak mainly about our fraternity here tonight, so you can sort out what is true of all fraternities and what pertains mainly to our fraternity. This fraternity was organized in 1947 by a group of students who saw a need for a new type of fraternity in the school. Many of them were veterans of the war, and they felt that the existing fraternities were not really for them. So they formed a new one. For many years, they did not have a house, and they met once a week in a meeting hall to conduct business. Since then, the fraternity has gone through thick years and thin years, fat years and lean years. What a creative guy he was. Coining phrases as I went. But has managed to grow until now. We have a house and furniture and all the fixings. Some of the original founders of the fraternity are here tonight. Are they really? And we are very proud and happy to have them here with us. When the original brothers drafted the Constitution, they put it in writing that this fraternity is open to all males regardless of race, religion, nationality, or creed. And may I remind you, that was not true universally. We have always tried to follow this, and we are proud of it. Now comes the pitch. You have heard it at each of the smoker you went to as to why you might choose that fraternity. Well, we have our arguments too, and we'll see if you think they are persuasive or not. Sometime in the next 4 years, probably a lot more than once, you will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not that you'll be sleeping, I mean that you'll be doing some school work, and all of a sudden it will hit you. And you will say to yourself, why am I going through all this? It seems like the same thing day after day, and I'm getting slightly nuts trying to keep up. Well, it's to be expected, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And naturally, you will go nuts at that time, and you'd better get used to going nuts. And when you're all bug-eyed, it's hard to see things objectively. What I'm leading up to is that we may be able to prevent you from doing violence to your portable typewriter at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, a good portable typewriter is more than a year's dues in any fraternity in the school. What this is all leading to is, in a sneaky way, is that there's more to these years in school than homework and tests and assignments and projects and classes and drawing sessions and cutting classes because you're ashamed to go to class because you've cut class so much, and the waiting online in the supply store for certain grades, certain grade pencil that they are out of, they're sure to be out of. You finally get waited on and being hit for a dime on the street corner and losing a quarter in the sandwich machine, and finding your homework is all messed up because the last person to use your table in the lunchroom forgot to clean up the coffee that he spilled because he was shaking like a leaf after over a math test that he was sure to fail. He passed with an A, by the way. When the other guys in his class found out he was the only one to get an A, they will probably break his fingers complaining so much, and well, this is getting too complicated. But you get what I mean. Fraternity offers, in addition to all these selected short subjects, sort of a main co-feature to go with your education in school, and that is to make lasting friendships and have a more enjoyable social life than you might otherwise. And you'd be surprised how it makes life more bearable. It's a fuller life. There's almost always something doing at our house. Whenever I feel like it, I usually find some brother with whom I can play cards or play ping pong or just talk. And of course, We have zillions of organized events, such as Friday night parties, Saturday night parties. The subtle difference of these will be explained later by Murray Sharkey, if I ever finish, and get-togethers and sports events and such things. And we participate in all the school affairs, such as field day, skit night, which we have won several times. It must have been way before me, though, and others. And we enter all the intramural events, and we have some trophies to show for it. The house is very accessible. There is almost always someone here. The desirability of this last item depends on the time you wish to use the house. In fact, sometimes when you are really pressed for time, you can save yourself the time it takes to travel to and from by sleeping at the house. And some of us know all about that, like Stewie Nagel, who really likes to travel. Scholastically, it has been proven by statistical experts of unquestioned authority like Mike Borkowski, I don't know why I brought him to this, that the contrary to popular opinion, students in fraternities have higher average cumulative indices than the average non-fraternity student. And in addition, the greatest proportion of fraternity men occurs in the senior year. There are brothers in every year and every class, and if you need help at a course, we'd be happy to help you. A little advice on what to expect in a certain course can save you a lot of trouble later on. But the really good big thing about fraternities, and this is the main reason for being of this fraternity, is that you will join a group of friends that stick together long after graduation. Remember that everybody makes school friends, but when you graduate from this school, you probably will drift apart rapidly. You can come back to the school a couple of years after you graduate and either not be recognized by anyone or have your fraternity brothers give you a warm welcome back and actually be glad to see you. The main requirement to joining this fraternity is that you want to have fun while you're still in the school. We don't emphasize service to the school, although we have men who are active in school affairs. We have high motives of making you into a new man. We have no high motives. We have no high motives of making you into new men. As I said, we want mainly that you should see in us a group of potential close friends, and we should see the same thing in you. We believe that a fraternity in this school should welcome members in any branch of the school. Towards this end, we have instituted 3 years ago an active program to acquaint students in the art school with our fraternity. Although this program has not had large-scale results in terms of membership, and a few art school students join each year, and our membership is growing. Let me offer you this advice in choosing a fraternity. Remember that a fraternity cannot be all things to all men. Your main criteria for picking a fraternity should be the brothers in the fraternity. Pick the group of men with whom you would like most to spend and become close friends. All other considerations are secondary. Towards this end, we'll leave the rest of the evening after these talks open so that you may meet our brothers. We hope you will take advantage of this. Stick around. Compare kidney function with Larry Kaplan. Meet a few brothers and talk to them. Don't look to shake hands with everybody in the room because you won't remember anyone or anything about them. Next week, make a final trip to each of the fraternities you are considering, and then make your decision. Let me wish all of you success and happiness in our school, regardless of your decision next week. We hope that you will get to know us better. As for those of you who are thinking of joining us, we are a growing fraternity, still creating traditions. We have a lot of work to do, and there is still a lot. We've done a lot of work, and there's still a lot to be done. We invite you to grow with us. So this was my speech, and we had a nice turnout.
We didn't get any pledges that year, though.
We got nobody at all. What?
Read this before and after the beer keg was opened.
Remember, the president of the school was here, so we were on very good behavior. Do you know that we had in our senior year a parents' night? Would you believe? Do you remember that? Who remembers the parents' night? We had a parents' night. Is it in my dreams only? We had a parents' night.
Yeah, all our fathers got drunk.
Fraternity. We put parents at senior fraternity just to give the parents a feeling of comfort. You know. Anyway, what geeks is that? Total geeks. So anyway, a night like this is a way, maybe a little bit in your imagination, of telescoping 50 years to zero. And you're young again. For one night. So would anybody else like to have